It seems like quiet quitting is everywhere. It's the latest critique of workplace culture as American workers continue to push back against the rise and grind mindset. But what does quiet quitting actually mean and who does it benefit? I spoke to Sean Harper to get some answers. He's the executive director of University of Southern California's Race and Equity Center. So, what is quiet quitting?
I think the term itself is probably mislabeled because people aren't quitting. Maybe they're quitting the overwork, but they're not quitting their jobs. They're doing what was specified in the job description when they were hired. Quiet quitting is workers' refusals to go the extra mile so that executives and companies can earn even more profit. It is setting boundaries, right? Determining that I'm not going to check email while I'm at a baby shower or a concert, or I'm not going to do work at night and on weekends. The job says that I'm supposed to work from 9 to 5, and I'm going to work from 9 until 5.
But can everyone afford to set these types of boundaries? When does quiet quitting apply?
It also, I think, applies more so to white collar workers and people who work in offices in managerial or leadership roles. It does not apply to groundskeepers, food service workers, custodians, administrative assistants. Those are roles in most companies that are overwhelmingly comprised of people of color.
Certain roles may limit a person's ability to quiet quit, but according to Harper, that's one of several reasons quiet quitting isn't really a thing among Black and Brown workers.
One thing that I hear consistently, regardless of the industry, from people of color is that they have to work twice as hard to get half as far in terms of climbing the corporate ladder, if you will. So I've just seen no evidence of quiet quitting among folks who are incredibly ambitious and really care about their careers and understand the racial politics that have long disadvantaged them. So why would they then suddenly start doing the bare minimum, recognizing again that the expectations for them are inequitable as it pertains to advancement? I am such a proponent of employee wellness, and I applaud employees across all racial and ethnic groups, people of color and white people alike, who say, you know what, I'm going to do my job and that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to take on extra labor that is unpaid and undue stress and so on. Let me say who is the problem, right? The executives who evaluate their work and who make determinations about who gets raises and bonuses and ultimately who gets promoted.
Finally, how does quiet quitting factor into the ongoing conversation about work life balance during the pandemic?
One way that employees are, taking action is by setting these parameters and boundaries, especially as they're being required to return to on-site work. So I think that when we put these two moments in conversation, quiet quitting with the great resignation, I do think that it forces employers to take more seriously the feedback that employees are giving them about what's reasonable. Otherwise, if executives and senior leaders draw hard lines, people are going to leave. They're going to continue leaving in record numbers to go to other companies that are a lot more flexible and accommodating. I am really grateful that it has invited a conversation about reasonable expectations and boundaries.
For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Nicole Ellis.